Yeah. Coke fed, press some hand, let's get in the car, I said. She grabbed my hand, girls rescue, met the bar, witness said. Tears fled the head, I'm waiting, I guess she tweeting, I guess she confess. She thinking less, not drinking less. Bathroom says, best to get spontaneous. I stereotype, put to rest tonight. Imagine, believe, and achieve, it works. Skyline as I rise like fireworks.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of After the Storm, your Oklahoma City Thunder post-game live stream analysis, giving you the breakdown of the Thunder, the truths, and not the BS. Breaking it down for you, telling you what's happening and what happened, and giving you facts, not fiction, trying to educate you more on what's happening with the Thunder, what they're doing and what they're not. Of course, the Thunder took care of business tonight in New Orleans, 110-96 over the Pelicans. Now, of course, we're both now at 32 and 35. So on Monday, on the Unpopular Hour, our daily sports show, we'll give you the update on what happened with all the NBA standings, because the Mavericks. What was it? Thursday or whatever, Friday, whatever. They lost one game. They dropped 3 spots. You lose one game, you drop 3 spots, and that's just telling you where the West is right now. And of course, we will update that. I can't give you the updates right now because the NBA won't update it until after all the games are played today. So I won't have an update for you until Monday, or actually tomorrow night. I will have an update for you because tomorrow night the Thunder play back to back at San Antonio, and we will be doing the game live tomorrow night. I think we're going to probably either do it at the Boot or we're going to do it at Cats tomorrow night on Sunday night. So, or do the show. So if you guys want to come through to Cats or to the Boot, whatever, I'll decide probably at the end of the show. I'm sure we'll probably do it at Cats. That's my early early feeling that we'll do it at Cat's Tavern, located on 64th and Class. And so if you guys want to come by and come on air with me and talk about what happened with the Thunder, hey, by all means, come on and do it. We're more than happy to have you guys come on air. So that being said, the Thunder are now 32 and 35, the same record as the Pelicans. And remember, we lost that game to the Pelicans at home, and I said at that time how important that game was for us and how we needed to win that game. So we came back, got redemption, beat them on their home floor. Now, we did have an advantage because Brandon Ingram did not play tonight, nor did they have Zion. So we were at an advantage, excuse me, when it comes to that. So that being said, we start the game out with our normal starting five: SGA, Josh, Dort, J-Dub, and J. Will. And, of course, the big three being SGA, Josh, and J-Dub, not Dort. J-Dub is our big three. And, when you have those three guys going, we are a tough team to beat. But in overcoming a lot of the substitution patterns that our coach does, it's just frustrating as hell to me. And this is the thing. If we were playing on national TV and we were on TNT and you had Charles and Shaq and Kenny breaking the game down, they would tell you exactly what I'm telling you. They would tell you exactly what I'm telling you. Because of the substitution patterns, we allow teams to get back in games because of the players he's playing. I mean, and we'll break that down a little further because I'm like, Lindy Waters was your first guy off the bench along with Isaiah Joe. Why are you bringing? Once again, he is the G League coach. That's what I'm gonna start calling G League. He's G League coach. You can't play G League players. Now, Lindy had a good game the other day, and then of course tonight he's who he is. This is what he shot tonight in competition. When the heat is on, this is who he is, and he's not gonna change. I don't know why you're playing him, but you're trying to fit him in there and all that. Look, we've discussed who you need to play. These are the guys you need to go with. How are you going to put a G League player and play him way more minutes than a guy who is one of your regular players and just started the other night? Because it's who you are. You are a G League coach, and fortunately you have SGA to take care of you and bail you out. You got Josh to bail you out. You got J-Dub to bail you out. But because of your coaching decisions and your lineups and how you try to stick people in there, then all of a sudden when we get in trouble, you got to put in the lineup you should have had in there in the first place. As I've said many times, you need to play SGA, you need to play Josh, J-Dub, Dort, J. Will, and Isaiah Joe, Wiggins is your seven. Then Jang is playing because K Will is out, and then you can play Sarge. That's your nine, and Trey Mann here and there. You're putting Trey Mann on the bench, and you're playing Lindy Waters. You're playing Sarge way too many minutes. You get him out there, you leave him out there, and what happens? The team gets in a flow, starts to run, then you try to sub the other guys in there. Then it takes us a minute or so to get, or 2 minutes for that group that you should have had in the first damn place. You need to play 9 players. Lindy Waters don't need to play. Sarge needs to play limited minutes. Dang needs to play limited minutes. That's it. You've got SGA, Josh, J Dub, J Will, uh, Lou Dort, Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins. That's your seven. And then you rotate in Sarge and Isaiah and Joe and excuse me, uh, Dang, but for K Will. That's your nine. You don't play anybody else. That's your nine, and you rotate that group in. And the two guys who don't play a lot are Dang and Sarge. Those are your two guys that don't play a lot. But those other seven, those get the majority of your minutes. And until you figure that out, go get me a coach who understands who can play and who can't. Give me a coach who understands NBA, not G League. Give me a coach that understands lineups. Give me a coach who can figure it out. Give me a coach that puts people where they belong, where they need to be. Put them in place. Get me that coach, and the Thunder will succeed. But until that, the Thunder are going to be at an average of 40-something wins. Until you make that decision and give us a coach who can say, Lou Dort, hey, you don't need to shoot more than this many times. Lou Dort, excellent defensive player. Fouls too many jump shots. I mean, he fouled again on the three tonight. Minute something to go. You're fouling uh, uh, C.J. McCollum. Why are you fouling a three-point shooter? Minute to go, you foul him. He gets three shots, and the ball stops, and the clock stops, and he gets in rhythm, and they get the full court presses instead of him shooting and making or missing, and then we get the ball out in transition if he misses long, or we can get the ball out right away. Don't let them set up their defense. But once again, Lou Dort, you're fouling again. I just don't understand it. You're better than that, bro. But again, we had the Thunder get off to a good start. Our defense got us going. They scored the first 4 points. Excuse me. And then our D got going, and it got us into the flow. Because what happens? Turnovers, long shots equal long rebounds, equal transitional points, equal flow of the game. Talked about this over and over and over. And then SGA is just ridiculous. I mean, his handles and what he does with the ball is amazing. Now, what I'm going to say is this too, and I've said this on the previous show, and I'll continue to say this. SGA has to understand he's not going to get the calls that he normally gets. Okay? Because the referees are starting to get in playoff mode. And SGA is going to the basket. And yeah, he's getting contact, but he's got he's doing those pump fakes and he's shooting air ball stuff looking for. Dude, they're not going to give that to you. You have to change your mindset. James Harden could never change over from what he got in the regular season to not getting those calls in the playoffs. He never ever got a chance. He never could make that transition. We'll turn this. He never could make that transition. SGA, you have to mentally make that transition going. When I go to the basket, I've got to look to get an and one, and if they call it, great. If they don't, whatever. Because if you're sulking about not getting calls, jogging down court, the other team gets a basket in transition, or it's going to affect you mentally, and you're going to start missing shots, which is what you did tonight. And we'll look up his score, his shooting percentage. He's got to change his mentality. This is playoff basketball. Our coach needs to change his mentality. HGA's got to change his mentality to this is playoff basketball. Now, as a whole, our team has no idea what playoff basketball looks like, feels like, or anything else because we haven't been there. But then you're starting to feel it. This is playoff basketball. That's why I'm saying you need to cut your roster playing to 7 guys, and then you play Sarge and Jang sparingly here and there. But for the most part, you've got to go with your top 7. That's it. And Lindy Waters is not your top 7 because if he is, he would have been playing all year long. But instead, you're the G League coach. You're a G League. I'm starting calling you G League. That's who you are. You're Eminem, you're minutes manager, and you're G League. That's who you are. Our coach has to drop his mentality from G League to understand this is the playoffs. The players have to change their minds. This is the playoff, but it starts at the top with your coach. He has no clue, and neither are players. And SGA, if he doesn't get it and doesn't understand this is playoff basketball and he's got to finish and pick his shots, do more pull-ups. You can't go to the basket as much. Do some pull-ups and then get your fouls, but they're not going to give you fouls. They're just not. And then Dort, he's got to understand he's not a scorer. He is a shooter, but I need you at the line, not 30 feet away. I need you at the line, not 30 feet away. At the line, you're a 35%, 40, 38% three-point shooter. Where you're shooting, you're a 28% three-point shooter. Get closer to the line. Quit trying to do stuff you do. You don't have the hands, you don't have the skill set yet to do the things you're trying to do. You see somebody else do it. Oh, I can do it. No, you can't. And that was evident uh, tonight. Uh, but anyway, another thing I've got in my notes: our broadcast people. You need to understand what the hell a shot is. There's a difference between a teardrop and a floater. They were calling floaters tonight push shots. I had to laugh. I got a text from a couple of my kids. Coach, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they don't know how to, they don't have no clue on what a shot is. They don't know the difference between a teardrop and a jump hook. He's calling Josh did a nice turnaround jump hook with his left. Oh, nice hook shot. No, it was a jump hook. No, that was a teardrop. No, that's not a push shot. That is a floater. Understand what shots are. So when it happens in a game, you understand and you can give the proper analogy. Frustrating as hell. Anyway, first quarter, Thunder up 32-22, largely because our defense was outstanding today. I mean, boy, our defense was on point, right in line all day today. I really like what I was seeing from there. The Pelicans were 2 for 10 from three for 31%. The Thunder were 3 for 7 for 57% total. I'm talking about field goal percentage, not 3-point percentage, clearly. We out rebounded them 12-9 with 6. They only had 6 points in the paint. The Thunder had 14. So I liked what I saw right there from the Thunder. I liked what I was doing with that. I like what I was doing right there with the Thunder. 6 pips, 14 for us pips. That's my favorite stat. Points in the paint. 5 turnovers for them, 4 for us. Bench scoring, we only had 3 points from our bench scoring at that particular time. And remember, guys, if you have any questions or if you want to comment at all, here's the number. You can text me at 405-551-8300. That's our Skype text. You can text me, it'll pop up. And remember, put your name down so I know it's you. If not, if you just ask me a question, I'll just answer the question, but I won't have any clue who you are. So when you ask the question, please put your name so I'll be able to tell you on air. But anyway, if you have a question or you have a comment about what I'm talking about, please text me at 405-551-8300. And we can get you on air or get that on air and we can talk about what's happening. So to start the second quarter, the Thunder, remember, up 10. We started with Josh, Isaiah Joe, J-Dub, Lindy Waters, and Sarge. Lindy Waters, like I said, first guy off the bench. What are you doing? You and Isaiah Joe. I mean, what are you doing? And his coach and then he starts him. He's just playing him. So I just, yeah, he had a good game the other day, but that's an anomaly. And it was against the Suns. But you got to understand, and I'm going to say this one more time. You have to limit, this is playoff basketball. If you're going to be a coach in the future for us, you have to, and we're going to be in the playoffs, you need to change your mentality. You play 7 guys and you put in your 2 extra guys. So you play 9 tops, 10 absolute max. And you hear, if you listen to TNT, they'll tell you all the time, you look at the game, coaches, this is the time coaches narrow down their rosters. We're only playing this many guys, that's it. Because this is playoff basketball. This is how many we're going to play. Our coach doesn't get it. G League don't get it. He's got to understand what he needs to do. And I'm not sure. I would tell him to his face. I say, bro, you can't be playing all these dudes. You got to play 7 guys, and then you got Dang, who's going to take over for K. Will, and then you've got Sarge, who can give J. Will. But you can't be playing Sarge a bunch of minutes. You got to keep J. Will. He's the big body. He's the guy that helps. He is the guy. Sarge does stuff here and there, but you're playing him way too many minutes. Your starters have to play the majority of the minutes, and you don't get it clearly. So, I mean, I just don't understand that he played Waters and he kept Waters on the floor and took Josh out. And I was like, wait a minute. You're going to take out your second best player out of the game on a substitution and leave in a G League player. Let that sink in. You take your second best player out of the game before you take a G League player out. Yeah, I'll let that resonate for a minute. I'm like, what? Wait, what? No, you take him out. You keep your second best player there. I know we're up 17, but it doesn't matter. The floor of the game changes so fast, and that's what ended up happening late because he's playing guys before. Like, dude, you, like I said, he costs us 6 to 8 points a game every game because of his substitution patterns. I've said it over and over and over. And then all you had to do is watch and pay attention because once the team makes a run, then all of a sudden those guys are on the bench where the hell they should be in the first damn place. And you try to put in these other guys that should be playing. You have your rotation of 7 guys, and then Jang and Sarge are your eighth and ninth. And I'm gonna say it again. You have your starting five of SGA, Josh, J Dub, Dort, and J Will. Those should play the majority of the minutes, 28 minutes each, minimum. Then you've got Isaiah Joe coming out because he's your shooter, and he lines up perfectly. And when he's at the line, he's deadly with that. As long as he's not trying to do step back threes and all that other stuff, just catch and shoot. Then you got Aaron Wiggins for defense because of his length. Then you got Jang in there. He can hit some shots here and there, but you got to have somebody in there to take K. Will's place while he's hurt since he's out. And then Sarge is your backup for J. Will. But he needs limited minutes, not as many minutes as he's getting. Limit his minutes. You play your starters more. And you got 7 guys, and you play the other 2 as subs and sparingly. The other guys are on the bench. And I like Trey Mann a lot, but he's just not ready. He's just not it. So then anyway, it's at this particular point, it's 49-34, and you've got SGA, Jang, J Dub, Isaiah Joe, and Sarge in the game. And then all of a sudden, here we go on a nice little run. Or 44, excuse me, it was 44-33, 49-34 because you subbed out those other guys, you put that group in, we went on an 8-0 run. And then all of a sudden, that turned into a 15-2 run. Why? Because of who you got on the floor. SGA, Jang, J-Dub, Isaiah Joe, and Sarge. That's who you got in the game. And they're playing limited. You got Sarge playing in there. You look at the game. If you want to have runs, if you want to keep the other team from getting runs, you got to have your players out there on the court. It is what it is. Look who's in the game and look what we do when that group is in. Whenever there's a run coming, because it was 32-22, they made a run, and we went on an 8-0 run. So when he took them out, it was 41-34, and he subbed Lindy Waters out, and we went on an 8-0 run. Dude, I'm so over him and Mr. G League. I'm over him. Dude, you have got to stop putting certain lineups in that costs us points. And then you got to put the other lineups in there to stop the run that you caused because of the lineup that you had in there. It's not rocket science. It's just not. It's very frustrating. But anyway, SGA finished with 23 points in the first half, and he's just a beast. And we're so lucky to have him. So at halftime, the Thunder up 63-44 because that 15-2 run that we made late after he put in the right lineup in there. The Pelicans were 4 for 15 from 3 with 38% field goal percentage, 19 rebounds, 18 pips, 12 turnovers. The Thunder were 5 for 14 from 3. Once again, as long as we're at the line shooting, we're great. It's when we step back and try to act like we're 3-point shooters, we're not very good. 51% from the field, 21 rebounds, 22 pips, 7 turnovers. Bench scoring, the Thunder scored 11 points from our bench. Excuse me, in that quarter. So loved what I saw from our bench. That being said, I want to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors, Collaborative Logic. appreciate everything they do to make sure that we are up and running here. And if you have any needs for any software written or any uh, uh, website design or computers bought or anything like that, they're perfect for that. And the thing that I love is that I don't have to take my computer in; they can come in and do things remotely. So that's fantastic. Even though I got to take my Stream Deck into them so that I can just push buttons instead of having to search through all of my things here. SRB and my guy Mark Long, if you have any engineering, surveying, or planning, he is the dude for that. Oak Grove Trucking, my guy Jose Fierro. If you've got somebody you need a minority to come out and do some trucking and take off that get that write off, hey, he is the guy for that. And then Greg and Max Nafee sponsoring me and taking care of me and also having my back in everything I do. And last but not least is YNB, family owned and operated since 1912. They are the bank that makes things happen. They're an equal housing lender and a member of the FDIC. They're also our sponsor for us to go out and do remote live streams at minority women and black owned businesses in the Oklahoma City area. You can pre qualify online with these guys at www.ynbok.com. That's www.ynbok.com. Or you can go into the main bank and see Joe Horn, Nathan Taylor, or Carson Wright. And then here are the other locations that they do have. You can go at the YNB East location, which is the Yukon Parkway right off 39th Street and Yukon Parkway and the Yukon Parkway. Or you can go to YNB there in Mustang. They do have a Mustang location at 218 North Mustang Road in Mustang. Or you can go to the YNB Parkway, and which is the Garth Brooks uh, Boulevard, which is excuse me, I-40 and Garth Brooks Boulevard, right in front of the hospital. And then, of course, the location that I always go to is YNB Peoples at 6201 Northwest 63rd in Bethany, which is basically on 23rd Street between MacArthur and Rockwell. That's the location I go to because if I go to Yukon, Randy Wright tends to beat me up whenever I go in there. So anyway, the Thunder will go into the third quarter of 63-44. And of course, we have our starters, which I like once again, like he did in the Phoenix game, starting Lindy Waters because he was hot. Go with your starters, G League. Go with your starters, and he did tonight. And that's of course SGA, Josh, J Dub, the big three, Lou Dort, and Jay Will. And I tell you what, J Dub just got us going right off the bat because he had struggled a little bit in that first half, but the second half he got us going. And that's what we need. Each quarter, you got to have SGA get us started, and then J Dub does his thing for a minute. Josh does his deal, which is when we win games, there's a run. One of those three guys are stopping the run. But they're all three usually on the court at the same time when that run happens because they focus so much on SGA, which they double team him, take the ball out of his hands, and then now you got two guys who can finish because that's what needs to be done. You have to have these two guys that they're going to double team SGA. That's what they're going to do because he gets rolling. He does a great job of hitting the right guy. Now, one of those two guys have to make a play. And today, it was J Dub, and the other day it was guess who? Josh Giddey. And that's what happens when we win. Is one of those three making plays down the stretch, one of the big three. And then I tell you what, our defense, like I said, was just outstanding. I mean, great ball movement, doing everything that they needed to do. And then, of course, uh, and my big thing was what I did love. I love watch Valanciunas and Jay Will. Oh, they were beating the crap out of each other. Why? Because Jay Will is a big, strong body guy. He's got some girth on him. He's a big boy, 6'10". Even though Valanciunas is 7 foot, you got J Dub in there, or J Will in there can battle. Before we'd have Robinson Earl. He can't battle a guy like that. You'd have Kendricks Williams. He can't battle a guy. He doesn't have the body. He can't keep up with them. And so even Sarge tries to, but Sarge is really more of an offensive guy than he is a defensive guy. And that's why usually when we're making a run, it's Jay Will on the court, not Sarge. Even though tonight Sarge did make some plays in the second quarter to get that run going on that 15-2 run that we made to close it out. So, but anyway, I loved what I was seeing right there. So it was 98. It was 78-58 with 5:36 to go, and we substitute Isaiah Joe for J Dub. And then uh, again, our announcers, please educate yourself on basketball moves because for those of us that know, you look dumb to us. We're like, dude, what are you talking about? Now, to the average fan who doesn't understand the difference between a floater or a teardrop or a jump hook, there's a difference between a floater and a teardrop. They're two different moves shot completely different ways. There's a difference between a jump hook and a hook shot. They're shot two completely different ways. So please go back and look at something and understand what the hell. And Michael Cage, you know, he wasn't really a great scorer. He's a big body who, rebounds. He was an inside guy. But as far as being able to score and make moves and do things, that wasn't his game. He didn't have that in him clearly because he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Or if he was that ability, had that ability, he would be able to break it down, but he can't because he doesn't know the difference. And that's sad. So please go back and find out what the hell a shot is and isn't. And if I could find some diagrams, I would need to get some diagrams to show you the difference between here's a teardrop, here's a floater, here's a jump hook, because those are things that we teach. And my kids were texting me saying, "Coach, does he not know?" Like, don't listen to those guys. And you can't listen to the radio because they don't know either. So our as far as our TV people and our radio people, they if you're trying to get knowledge out of them about what don't go there. It's not worth your time even trying. So that being said, you got Josh, anyway, you got Josh, J Dub, Isaiah Joe Dort, and Sarge in the game. The Thunder are up 14 points, 80-66. Stop the little run that they had coming at it. And then all of a sudden it's 82-66 with Joe, same group in there. So with 2:50 to go. And that's what I'm saying. That's what you have to do. It's substitution patterns. Dude, I'm explaining it to you. If you're watching or somebody's watching, please go talk to him. You play 7 guys and you got 2 extra out there. And then Trey Mann is your 10th. But when you play Lindy Waters before the other guys, what are you doing? And like I said, I'm an OSU guy. I like Lindy. But I'm trying to win playoff games. I'm trying to get to the playoffs. And remember, my over-under for the Thunder were 33. My maximum for the Thunder was 40. And everybody told me I was crazy before the season. But I watched the Thunder last year when we first started doing the show. And I could see what they were trending. I could see what was coming. And then after watching J Dub and seeing it, I was like, oh man, we got something going here. But now what you've got to do, and you look at the Kings. The Kings were doing the things they need to do. They made one move. They got Malik Monk in there, but what the big move? They brought in Mike Brown as their coach. And then what happened with the Warriors? They went from fifth or third or fifth in defensive efficiency to 13th. Coaching matters. Coaching matters. And he's playing guys I promise you should not be playing. And Sam Presti, he was telling me, oh, look, we're in the win mode now. Okay, we're in win mode now. Then get me a coach that can win. Because that guy clearly he was good for what we were trying to do. No doubt. But now with the substitution pattern, it's like Lindy Waters gets the rebound, comes up the court, and SGA is calling for the ball. He comes down and shoots a three. And after that, SGA didn't pass it to him no more. He's like, dude, really? If I call for the ball, you give me the ball. But once again, he shouldn't have to do that. That's coaching. SGA asks for the ball, you give him the ball. You don't come down and shoot a three, a brick. He shoots a brick. It's like, dude, what are you doing? SGA is looking at him like, what the hell are you doing? I'm looking at him like, what the hell are you doing? The coach should have been looking at him. He should have been put on the bench immediately right there. Give the ball up to your best player. But once again, he's filling his oats because he had a decent game he had a really good game against Phoenix. But look, dude, that ain't who you are. We know who you are. I've seen a year and a half worth of work. I know what you can do, what you can't. You shouldn't be on the court. You shouldn't. Especially now that we're trying to make a playoff run. I'm just saying. Third quarter. Let me get to this. Third quarter stats, Oklahoma City up 87-72. Pelicans are 9 for 24 from three, 40% from the field, 31 rebounds, 26 points in the paint with 19 turnovers. Oklahoma City at this point is 7 for 22 from three for 48% from the field, and 29 rebounds, 38 points in the paint with 19 turnovers. Excuse me, with 10 turnovers. And I love how we were taking care of the basketball. And remember, at halftime, we were 5 for 14, so we were 2 for 8. And the Pelicans from three, I'm talking about. And the Pelicans were 4 for 15 at halftime, so they were 5 for 8. And of course, that's how they kind of made that little run, and then you had to take those guys out and put other guys in. Bench scoring, Oklahoma City up 19-16 going into the fourth quarter. So you get some production from your bench. Sarge came in and did really well, Sarge. And then, of course, Isaiah Joe coming off the bench and knocking down some shots. So that really helped what the Thunder were doing. So you start the fourth quarter. Once again, this is what's important. You start with Josh, J-Dub, Lou Dort. Well, actually, you had Isaiah Joe in there for just a second, and then you put Lou Dort. So Lou Dort basically started with Sarge and Lindy Waters. And the D had been great. And then all of a sudden, it's 92-77. You put Isaiah Joe in for Waters. Because you were not, he's just, I like him, but, and then of course he didn't see the court the rest of the time. And I'm just like, okay, now you got your guys in there. And of course, they were already starting to make a run. Then all of a sudden, here they come. And then you bring SGA back in the game. And then it's 94-82. And you have to bring SGA in the game with 8 minutes to go. Excuse me, 7 minutes to go. So now you've got SGA, Isaiah Joe, J. Will, J. Dub, and Lou Dort in the game. Why? Because they're making a run because of who you had in the game. Who you had in the game. The other team starts making a run, and that's why you pulled Lindy Waters out, because you felt that run coming. Thank God you can actually feel runs. But that didn't help, and they just got into a flow, and that was it. Why? Because of the simple fact you let them get into a groove because of your lineup choices. Then all of a sudden, what do you got to do? You got to put these guys back in the game to stall the run. Then all of a sudden, it's 98-87, and then you put Josh in for J. Will. Why'd you do that? You put Josh in for J. Will to make the smaller lineup to go with their smaller lineup. Plus, you need somebody who can move a little bit better than J. Will. J. Will is not exactly the most quickest and most fleet of foot guy up and down the court. And then the thing is this, is that SGA, and this is the point I was trying to make, he shot a couple times in a row we missed. Like, dude, you got to understand, here's your game. You're not going to get the calls. You're just not. You've got to adjust your thinking that this is playoff basketball with 16 games to go. They're not going to give those calls. If we're going to get into the playoffs, you're going to have to change your mentality. You got to do more pull-ups, more mid-range, not going to the basket as much. And I know you're getting 12, 13, 14 free throws, but as the game goes on at the end of the game, they're not going to give them to you, which is what happened tonight. Because you're used to getting those calls. Well, then you're sulking because you didn't get them. You can't do that, bro. They're not going to give them to you. You're not going to get the calls. So mentally, you got to adjust your thinking on what you need to do as far as that's concerned. And once you do, that will happen. And then all of a sudden, here come the Pelicans. We get them down 9, or get down 9. But what do? We get the flagrant foul. Dort and J-Dub did a great job of double teaming C.J. McCollum. C.J. McCollum threw the elbow at Dort. Dort makes 1 of 2 free throws. We get the ball, and we extend our lead out. Then all we got to do is just milk the clock. And then with 1:26 to go, we're up 9, 12, or was it 14? And then Lou Dort fouls him. I'm like, dude, it's 1 minute and 26 seconds to go. And you foul a three-point shooter, Dort, again. It cost us against the Utah Jazz in Utah because you fouled Marketing. At the end, he's doing a fadeaway and you're bodying him up. Then you slap. Dude, why are you even getting near the guy? Just don't get near him. If he makes it, he makes it. If he misses, he misses. Just run by him. Don't get in his space. Don't touch him. Don't do anything. A hand in the face. Let me explain something to y'all. A hand in the face when you're in the league and you're a shooter means 0. Once they get a look at the basket, it's over. Whether you jump, don't jump, put a hand in their face, whatever, it's irrelevant. Once you get a look at the basket, it's over. I teach something when I teach my kids about shooting the ball with your eyes closed. And what I basically do is When you get there and you look, you get to look at the basket, then close your eyes and you let your mechanics take over from there because looking at it is not going to make it go in. Once you get a look, it's mechanics from that point on. How many times have you shot it over and over and over? That's why repetition, repetition, repetition. And that's what I teach them. So why are you even doing? I mean, he's either gonna make it or not. You touching him, that leave him alone. Don't foul. Now, of course, it ended up didn't hurt us because SGA came down there and knocked down a shot. Then they fouled him and he hit the free throw. So it ended up not costing us. But in Utah, it cost us because of your fouling. It cost us early in the year because you fouled a 3-point shooter. Dude, you're a great defender. Don't be so physical and understand the game. You got to be smart. You got to be smart and understand. That being said, the Thunder pull out the victory 101-132. Oh, that ain't even the score. Oh, the Thunder ended up winning one 110-96. That was the score the other day. 110 to 90. This is the Suns. Wait a minute, this is not even the score. I don't even know what the hell this is. What in the world is going on? That is not the end of the game score. That shouldn't be on there. I don't know what the hell that is. Let me see. Let me do this. Yep, that's not it either. I don't know what the hell. Let me fix this real quick, guys. Sorry about that. I don't know what the hell happened, but that should not be up there. That's what I get for not checking it. But that is not the score and what it should be. This is the score right here. I don't know that did not uh, why that did not come about. Thunder end of game box score. There we go. There we go. Now that should be take care of that. There we go. I don't know why that didn't happen. In the game stats, Thunder winning 110-96. Both of us records are now the same, 32 and 35. The Pelicans are 12 and 34 from the three, 42% from the field, 43 rebounds, 36 pips, 22 turnovers. The Thunder were 9 for 28, 46%, 38 rebounds. So we got out rebounded by 5. But of course, with SGA there, we took care of business with the points in the paint at 48. Only 12 turnovers, like it when we have that few turnovers. I love that, love that. And then, of course, they outscored us by 1. And when you compare the first half to the second half, which is actually the Thunder Pelicans, the Pelicans ended up being 8 for, what was that, 8 for 19? 8 for 19 the second half, and the Thunder were 4 for 14 the second half. So the stats were basically the same first half, the second half for the Thunder shooting the three. And like I said, as long as we're on the line and not far back, we are pretty good. Field goal percentage, they were 38% the first half. They ended up with 42. Thunder went down from 51 to 46. Rebounds, we out rebounded them by 2 the first half. They out rebounded us by 5. The second half, a lot of that was long rebounds and stuff, and just giving up that points in the paint. We outdid them by 4 and ended up winning by 12, and that has to do with SGA and then us attacking the basket, which is what we need to do. Turnovers, they had 10 to our 5, and then bench scoring, they outscored us 13 to 8 in the second half. And then when you look at the box score overall, here you go. Jalen Williams, 19 minutes. Sarge played more minutes. That should never happen. I mean, anyway, I'm just done talking about G League as a coach. But anyway, 3 rebounds, 9 points. J Dub, in 37 minutes, had 17 points on 7 for 10, very efficient, with 4 rebounds and 2 assists. SGA, 10 for 23, 11 for 23. Like I said, part of my deal with him is that he's got to learn that they're not going to make the calls that he normally gets, even though he was 13 for 13. Down the stretch, he was looking for a couple calls that he did not get, trying to draw fouls, and they're just not going to give it to him. So he's got to realize, hey, just got to make the shot. Can't be going looking for the foul, but he did have 35 tonight. Josh Giddey, in 33 minutes, 8 for 12, 19 points. Josh played really good tonight, I thought. 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Lou Dort in 38 minutes, 2 for 8, 1 for 5, with 8 points, which is about where I want him. I want him, the 1 for 5 and 3. If he just shoots closer, if he just understands what his game is, he'll be so much better. Sarge, 20 minutes, way too many minutes, 4 points, 1 for 6, 0 for 3. I mean, just way too many minutes for him, I think. Lindy Waters, way too many minutes for him, 17, 2 for 7, 2 for 7 for 6 points. That's just who he is right there. Jane, 9 minutes, 0 for 2. Came back to earth a little bit with 3 points. That's kind of who he is. He's just going to be up and down because he's young. And then Isaiah Joe, 20 minutes, 3 for 7, 3 for 7 for 3, which is about right. That's about where we like Isaiah Joe. He missed the shots that he missed from three were simply because he was trying to do step backs and shooting out of his range. And then Aaron Wiggins, 2 minutes. That's just ridiculous. How the hell Lindy Waters plays 17 and Aaron Wiggins plays 2? I won't understand G League's mentality. But you should have your other four starters. Look how many minutes they played: 38, 33, 37, 37, and then Jalen Williams plays 19. Dude, I just don't get it. You need to have your starting five plus Isaiah Joe plus Wiggins. That's your 7. They should all be at 20 something minutes a game. Wiggins and Isaiah Joe should be right about the same amount of minutes, maybe just a little bit less for Wiggins because you want Lou Dort, Gideon, SJ, and Jalen Williams playing more minutes, but he needs to play minimum of 20 something minutes. But Lindy Waters and Sarge, they should be at 9 and 2 minutes, is where they actually Lindy Waters should have no minutes. And Jane should be probably 10, 15 minutes tops, 10 minutes, and Sarge should be about 10 minutes. That's where they should be. But Lindy Waters should have 0 minutes, and Aaron Wiggins need to have more minutes because defensively, you got to win this game, stop the runs, and you got to be able to do that. But clearly, G League doesn't get that as a coach, and he's going to have to figure that out. So, but anyway, let me give SGA some love. Tonight became one of 12 players, so I've got to give him love on this. This was very, very cool. One of 12 players with 6,000 points, 1,000 assists, 300 steals, 200 blocks in his first 300 games. And here's the list that he joined: Julius Irving, Grant Hill, David Thompson, Chris Webber, Marcus Johnson, Vince Carter, Larry Bird, LeBron James, Charles Barkley, D. Wade, and the great one, the GOAT, Michael Jordan. I mean, they look at that list right there. And for SGA to join it, that is impressive. Okay, that is an impressive list of players, and congratulations to SGA for that accomplishment. That's impressive. That is very impressive, and I want to take my hat off to him. And just for you Dunker City fans to realize how lucky we are that we have somebody like him that's all-star playing. Now, to remember, tomorrow night we play the San Antonio Spurs, and I will be at Cats. I think that's where we're going to be, Cats Tavern tomorrow night. So, hey, by every means, everybody come out there and join us. And if you want to come on there and talk about some things, please come on and talk about it. Give me your opinion. And, hey, if you want to disagree with me and give me your thoughts, hey, by all means do so. That being said, everybody have a safe night.